Hello and welcome back to another card video. This is Nikki and today I'm going to be making a card for you featuring some of the fancy papers from Craft Perfect and Tonic Studios. The papers that I have today, they came in the Tonic Craft Kit 19. Now there's a whole bunch of different types of papers you can get. I'm just using these today because I just happen to have them on hand. These are some of the ones that came in the kit. They are absolutely gorgeous, but you can also buy these separately at on Tonic Studios website. There's a lot of ones where you can get the pearlescent finishes. There's a lot of embossing style papers. This one here is kind of like it's almost like a leather type of grain on it. This one here has got a really nice embossed floral. And the one that I'm going to use today actually is this one. This one is, I love the pattern on this. It's like an embossed, almost like a wave. It is really, really nice. I'm going to be using some of my very favorite satin paper. This one here is Moonlight and Rose. It's a 6x6, one of the new ones that came out just recently. So first things first, I want to make my card front. And the first thing I need to do for that is trim out the pieces that I need to build the layers. So what I did off camera is that I made a template of where I would need to cut the pieces of paper for the front of my card. I'm going to go ahead and start trimming those out now to show you how that little template works. So first thing I want to do is cut this one. This one's going to be the background of my card, the card front. So I'm just going to go ahead, trim that one out to 5.5 by 4 1/4. This one isn't going to have like a white edge showing around the front. So this is going to be like a full coverage type of card front. So I have this, and I also have a white piece of cardstock that I can use to build my layers on. So I'll go ahead and just adhere that right now, because this is a very simple card. You can do this with any type of fancy paper that you have, you know, or you can even emboss some patterns and do the exact same thing if you have some embossing folders. But I really, really enjoy the fancy papers from Tonic Studios. So let me just get this down in place. There we go, first layer done. Absolutely love that, so nice. Okay, with this template, the first thing I'm going to cut is the satin cardstock. I'm going to cut it from the 3 5/8 to the 1 5/8 so I can get a nice angle. So I'm going to take this piece right here. I'm going to cut this one down to 5.5 by 4 1/4 as well, so it'll fit on the card front. This trimmer I'm using, by the way, is Tonic Studios 8.5 by 5 inch trimmer. Best trimmer I have ever used. And I've gone through a lot of trimmers. Okay. So what I want to do is fit this over my template and grab a pencil. So I can, and move it down just a little bit so I can see where the mark is. And I just need to, I don't even need to write. I just need to put like a little mark there so I know where to cut. I'll do the same thing over here on this side. Because I didn't even have any pencil out there, I'm just making marks. And adhesive gets everywhere. Anyway, let me go ahead and trim this out. So in order to do this, I'm looking at the two little marks that I made. There's one here and there's one here. I am going to lift this up. And I'm going to look at the cut line right here where I know the blade is going to come down, and I'm just going to line up those two dots right on that blade and trim down so that's where it cuts properly. There we go. So this will fit perfectly right over here. Let me go ahead, layer that one down. Now I'm not going to go all the way down to here with my adhesive because I have a die cut sentiment I want to use, and I'm going to tuck that in later. So I need to just leave a little open spot right here. It won't show on your card. There's enough adhesive on here to hold everything down. And I just need to get this in place, and then we can move on to the next piece. There we go. All right, so let me move this back to this side, and we are going to cut the next piece. We're coming back with this this style of paper, and this time I'm going to use the 1 3/8 and the 1 3/8 from here. And we'll mark this one as well, just the exact same way we did before. Make sure it's lined up so you get the right one, and you just want to, I'm just going to scuff it a little bit there because I'm going to trim off that little bit anyway. And do the same thing down here on the bottom. Like that. So if you look real closely, you can see the parts where you marked. Lay the template aside and do this trim again. And exactly the same way as the other one. You line up those 2 little marks that you made right along where the blade is going to come down. And there is our piece. Now this one you can go all the way around with the adhesive because this one's going to be layered up from where the sentiment is going to be. There we go. And we put that one on. There we go. That's coming along quite nicely. I've got another little strip of the satin cardstock left over. This is what I'm going to use to cut our last little piece. So back to the template again. Lay that up to the side. And this time I'm going to mark it at the 3/8 mark. And because I don't have an actual mark on this side, I'm just going to go right with the corner where the 2 of them meet. Same thing again, line it up against the blade section, which is about right there. There is our piece. And of course it's a little bit too long, so let's go ahead, do one more snip right there. Our card is 4 1/4 wide, so let's go ahead and do that. I should flip it this way. That's easier. All right, so 4 1/4. And that should make it perfect. I tell you, this thing is giving me grief today. Probably need a refill. Okay. And we layer that on right there. So there's the background for our card. Right there. So we can go ahead and work on the sentiment now. So the sentiment I'm using today is the Hello Sentiment Strip Die from Tonic Studios. I'm not going to use the background because it does come in 2 pieces. There's the background section right here, and there's also the word die section. And that normally, if you can see here, that will fit right inside like that, so it does a nice outline and helps sure our words stand out. Today, I'm just going to be using just the word section. Now, I have this cut out already, so you didn't have to wait for me to run it through my die cutting machine. And I wanted to do the rose gold sentiment, if you can see it right here. I wanted to do that, but it didn't really stand out that well against the background because it's all rose gold. So what I did is that I cut it 2 times more out of some gray cardstock that I had here in my stash. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer these on like that, just to help it stand out a little bit more. It'll give it a little bit of a shadow, so it's a little easier to see against the embossed paper. Okay, to make these layers, I'm just going to flip over our little template that we're using here so you can see this a bit better. And I'm just going to flip this upside down. I'm going to be coming in with some Deluxe adhesive. You can also use a glue pen, whichever you'd like. Oops. But I'm just a real big fan of this type of glue. It just works so well. And you just need to put a couple of little dabs here and there in the wider sections of where your die cut is. And just be super careful when you're coming out on the very thin parts. I'm just going to put a couple here and there. Like that. And then we're going to flip it over and put it down on the first gray one to make a layer. There we go. And just pick it up and you can fiddle with it a little bit. Just make sure it's all in line. So, and because this is part of the a background for the actual die cut that's going to be seen on the front of the card, if you have a little bit of glue squidging out here and there, you see it. It's nothing, a pencil or a pair of tweezers, a craft pick, something like that. It's something like that could fix. And that glue dries clear, so you won't see it. And just going to make sure this is adhered just like that. And it doesn't matter if it goes out to the far end, because we're going to be trimming some of that anyway. Okay, so here's the gray portion. This is the part that's going to be on the front. There's a couple of ways you can do this. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to be doing a straight down glue, just like this, so it stands out from my embossed background. But if you want to, you can always put a little bit of glue and just do like a slightly off center like that, and you can make a really cute background shadow, just to help it stand out a little bit more. But like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and do a straight on. And of course, this goes down the same way, just a couple little dabs of glue. Try to make the glue dabs a little bit smaller. I keep dabbing off on this corner once it starts coming out a little too fast, just to be able to keep it in check. There we go. Let me just get some out of here on the far side. Make sure I've got everything. All right, and I'm just going to layer the gray down over the pink. And I know that is way off, but I'll go ahead and shift it around here until I get it in the right spot. So back to the card front. Here we have our sentiment all ready to go. And this is going to get attached exactly the same way as I did the layers. And to spread the glue this time, I'm just going to put a dab and then spread it a couple of times with my finger, because I do not want any glue sticking out anywhere this time. There we go. So remember when I said that right here we weren't going to put any adhesive because we were going to tuck it underneath? I'm going to use that spot there now. Tuck the edge of the word hello under there. Get it in place. I'm trying to center it kind of right in that triangle. I think I might have it there first try, which is amazing, because I normally make a ton of mistakes first. And I'm just going to mess with this just for a second to make sure it's all good and straight. You see how the gray leaves a little tiny bit of a shadow, just helps it stand out a bit more. Okay, I think that is on there. It's in the right spot, and it is straight. So I'm just going to flip this over. Just trim off the excess of that little sentiment. Easy peasy. And there is our card front. So
I'm just going to go ahead, pop this on to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 A2 sized card base. Just like so. Make sure I got it on straight. Just like that. There we go. And that is the card for today. Supplies are listed below in the comments section. If you'd like to get notified when I share some more crafty goodness, please hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.